We're here today at Sydney University to gain an insight into an Olympic sport that's not that well known in Australia, but it has a higher participation rate worldwide than rugby union. Let's head on in and see what European handball is all about.
Handball is a team sport in which two teams of 7 players each, 6 outfield players and a goalkeeper, pass the ball using their hands with the aim of throwing it into the goal of the other team. A standard match consists of 2 periods of 30 minutes, and the team that scores more goals wins. Modern handball is played on a court 40 by 20 metres with a goal in the centre of each end. The goals are surrounded by a 6-metre zone where only the defending goalkeeper is allowed. The goals must be scored by throwing the ball from outside the zone or while jumping into it. Goals are scored quite frequently. Teams typically score between 25 and 35 goals each. Handball has been an Olympic sport since 1972. It has 159 recognised federations, and global participation is estimated at a staggering 31 million registered players. Today, we're dropping in on the Aussie squad to see what this sport is all about.
I've come down to Sydney University's Sports and Aquatic Centre to check out what a day in the life of a handball player is all about. But before I jump into the training, I sit down and have a chat with Pascal Winkler, who is the team manager, and Sebastian Traverso, who is the team's captain. I wanted to find out what more mainstream sports handball could be related to.
It's been described as fast like ice hockey, physical like rugby, tactical like basketball. We sometimes say it's like water polo without water. It's often been described as the second fastest sport after ice hockey.
And now it's time for the training to begin. After a quick introduction to the team, we were straight into the session.
Right boys, everyone ready? Training today a bit different. We got Matty here from Search4Hurt, and we want to show him what handball, Olympic handball is all about. It's obviously not that well known in Australia yet, so we want to change that. We want to see whether he can play it. Let's go. One-on-one defense, you pair up. The team who's got the ball try to play 10 passes.
The aim of this drill is to gain 10 passes in a small, confined space within your team before the other team can get the ball off you. Pascal releases the ball, and there's a big scramble to see which team can come up with the ball first.
Come on, follow!
Now we've got to try to get 10 passes in a row.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, stop!
I'm having a hard time keeping up with everything that's going on.
9, 4, 5.
It's full on. It's just like... The pace which we are going is mind-blowing.
Quick! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what the guys are doing is just kind of working in the space, getting their shoulders warm, kind of playing passes, and we start to play more and more physical to kind of get a bit more action into the training as well.
I'd had a few touches of the ball. Wouldn't say I really knew what I was doing, but the intensity of the game was really starting to take its effect.
Right.
I'm more conditioned for, I guess, a threshold or maybe just above threshold effort, but this was 100% effort from as soon as the ball hit the ground.
5, 6, 7.
Thankfully, Pascal called a timeout to get us all together for a bit of a pep talk.
Come in quickly. Okay, good. Everyone got the systems up. Everyone's ready? Okay, now I'd like to increase intensity a little bit, okay?
Increase intensity? Is he crazy?
2. Blue ball, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Come on, defense, 1, 4, 5, 4. Okay, 10 push-ups.
Calls us in to do 10 push-ups. Not a difficult task normally, but with my heart rate at well into the 180s, it's not going to be as easy as normal.
Trying to kind of get everyone a bit pumped up here, and like they'll have to shoot a lot afterwards, so you want the arms to be really warm and ready.
Coming up next, Mr. Murphy is diving head first into the thick of it.
I'm down here at Sydney University Sports and Aquatic Centre, checking out what it takes to be a professional handball player.
The ball travels quick in gameplay, but then when you get the shots, it's probably 120, 130 kilometers per hour. And you'll see also that it's this combination of being fast, being agile, and being physically really strong that is probably creating the best players. In handball, there's only one position where sheer power will get you somewhere, that's the pivot. But for all the back players which really drive the play, they need to be fast, they need to be tall, they need to jump high, and they need to be really physically strong.
Pascal calls us all in so we can be handed off to Arthur Giha, who is the team's strength and conditioning coach. To start off, we move into push-ups.
So, this position is high, medium, down, okay? Medium, high, okay? I will say you what to do. And when I say speedily, do the move speedily, like really quick, okay? In position, guys. Down, medium, high.
Arthur has demonstrated what he wants from us. We've got a full lockout push-up, a half-hold push-up, and finally, a full flexion lockout at the bottom. He'll call out the different range push-up that he wants at random times, and we need to get to that range as quick as possible. Then hold that until he calls the next range. When Arthur calls out speedy, we need to knock out push-ups as fast as we can.
Good. Go guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest.
With the push-ups now done, we then move into air squats. These are using the same principle that we did for the push-ups, with a full flexion, a halfway, and a full lockout.
Low, lower, lower, medium, high, low, high, low, high, low, medium. Stay like that. Stay. Lower, lower. High. Jump, then jump. Higher. Okay, 10 burpees and after it's okay. 10 burpees.
To finish off, we're made to complete 10 burpees as fast as possible.
9, 10.
Stretch, stay in the circle.
Stay in the circle.
They're now physically warm and ready, so we just need to make sure that they're kind of not getting any injuries, so we can then start working with the balls.
We finish off with some dynamic stretches just to make sure everything's gone through a good range of movement before we hit the court.
One person defense, other one attack, defense. Good. What? Good. This one.
How did that feel?
Mate, actually I want to go put my heart rate monitor on because till we start contact again, because I'm jacked, like pretty bloody, it's hard, man. Like even just thinking about spacing yourself in the right position, not only defence, but thinking about catching the ball. I've got to put myself in a position, then it rotates, and he's got the ball. Okay, now I've got to go to defence.
And I mean, that's where you can see there's the three-dimensional play is going to come in as well. So, and what we need to get the guys, which was the first exercise, was also about, like, obviously under a bit of stress to the body and under a bit of being under pump, still making the right position, still playing good passes, still getting kind of seeing the empty space and playing into it, etc. So that was what we're looking at.
Like, and I hear on the sidelines, we're only just getting started.
After the break, the training session gets into full swing. Will Matt's mediocre ball skills be enough to keep up with the Australian handball team?
This one looks just a little technical.
I'm down at Sydney University training with our Australian handball team. The team is only a few weeks away from competing in the Super Globe, which is an international handball tournament. I was curious to know how much extra training the team needs to go through before a competition like this.
Yeah, so we've been training 3 to 4 times a week, plus individual gym sessions with the strength and conditioning coach. So it gets quite busy during the week.
Us training 3 to 4 times, that would not even be professional level anywhere else in the world. Everyone's going to school, uni, working, etc. So trying to do that besides working and having a life in general, that's already quite a busy schedule.
I thought the handball would feel like a regular football or soccer ball in the hand, but it turns out they have a really sticky, glue-like substance on the ball. What is it and why?
So the guys starting to work with the balls now, and you'll see some balls look a little different from the others. So basically this is just, we're using resin on these balls, and they just start to pick up a little bit of dirt from the floor, etc. So the balls start looking a bit more like this rather than this. So this is the resin that we're using, and the guys, as you can see, they'll just put a little bit on their fingers, and it basically just gives them a little more grip.
Simple goal here is get the goalkeeper warmed up. The team do this by throwing shots at the goals as fast as possible, with the keepers blocking as many shots as possible. I attempt my first shot and I manage to throw it over the top of the goals. The speed at which some of these players are throwing the ball is incredible. And the goalies, they don't even flinch. Pascal stops the warm-up to add a defence component.
Defend, block. While I run over here, you play the pass.
So in this exercise, a defender tackles an attacker. He then tackles on the right side, just as quickly to move back to the left to prepare for a block.
Defend, you go, you block. Okay, then you go up. Once you've done your block, you go out, and basically you go to 9 meters, which is the dotted line. You go all the way out, you try to block him, and then you just run and block, okay?
After watching the other players go through the defensive movement a few times, it's now my turn to jump in and give it a go.
Out on 9 meters. Block. Out.
My first attempt had me looking pretty confused and definitely uncoordinated. Luckily, I get to have another go.
Block. Defense. Free shot.
My second and third go felt a lot better, but I'm not having much luck in actually stopping the balls.
And good. Switch. Sebi.
I swap out with another team member and my heart rate is soaring at 180 plus beats per minute. I line up to take my turn in the shooter position.
9 and 10 meters.
Okay.
You're gonna go too far. He's not to run too far.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it for block.
Yep.
Next guy to switch. Come on. Who hasn't been in defense? Who hasn't been in defense?
It's now time to move into another exercise, and it somewhat looks like a mini obstacle course.
Next exercise is really just to kind of test how good your shot and your behaviour still is after you've been under a bit of physical stress.
Pascal gives us a demonstration for us to better understand what needs to happen.
Now, I go through, you hold me up. Okay, defend.
This one looks just a little technical.
I sprint off the start, and the floor is really slippery. I need to be careful not to slip over, but get through the drill as fast as possible.
Bring it, boys, bring it.
I roll onto the gym mat, quickly hop up, and charge into the line of defence. I feel like a dwarf up against these guys. The overall intensity of the sport of handball has really caught me by surprise. Pascal signals the end of the drill. And to be honest, it couldn't have come at a better time. I'm starting to suffer.
So basically, this was 1 hour.
Yeah, go on.
We usually train 2 hours.
Up next, it's challenge time. Matty's put into a game and then into goals, where he'll go head-to-head with balls travelling upwards of 120 kilometres an hour.
I'm down at Sydney University training with the Australian handball team. I was intrigued to know just how many teams are there around Australia.
Probably per state, per capital city, it's maybe about 6 to 10 on average. And then there's girls and boys. So far there's no national competition, which we'd like to change. Love to have a national competition. It's just obviously quite expensive, etc. So, but it's certainly growing, and I think the bulk of it is played at school level at the moment. People are usually quite surprised that this sport is played in 159 countries, I think, in the world, and rugby only plays in about 100 countries. And it's like particularly in Europe, but even like Korea, Japan, South America, North Africa, this is one of the top 3 team sports that is played, usually with football, basketball, volleyball. And so it's massively, massively popular. They got professional leagues in like 20, 25 countries in Europe.
I've just been put through some intense warm-up ball drills, and it's now time for my challenge.
Your challenge?
Yep.
We'll do it in 2 parts.
Okay.
So one part is we're going to put you in goals, quite a different position, and you'll see how fast the balls come. They come at about 120, 130 Ks.
Oh,
I had padding in field hockey at 130, and now I got no padding yet.
We'll give you a box, and that's about it.
Box, yeah.
And then the second part, just for the heck of it, we'll put you on pivot.
Yes.
Your typical position would probably be on the wing.
Yep.
But we'll also put you in pivot because it's the guy behind enemy lines. It's very physical.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about working for the others as well. You're putting a lot of blocks, there's a lot of pick and rolls, etc.
first up, I'm in goals. Due to the limited supply of equipment, I need to borrow a box off one of the other guys.
Can you give him your box?
Oh, yeah, beautiful. You want it? Sorry. You want it?
We don't want anything making contact with that area.
And you'll get
Look at you, bro.
Centre back, right wing, pivot.
Kitted up and ready to go. Pascal leads me over to the goals.
But you have to wait.
He talks me through the different shots which I'm going to need to go up against.
You need to wait for the right moment when they shoot. If you go too early, they'll see you shoot the other corner. If you go too late, the ball is already got to be in.
Let's get this started. The guys line up for their first shots.
The centre backs, go.
Seeing him run up and jump and then shoot is an extremely intimidating experience. All as I wanted to do was guard myself against the ball. But in this case, I'm the guard that's got to keep the ball out. The first few shots go straight on through, and I haven't stopped one yet.
Okay.
It was time for the team to up the intensity.
Eyes open, Matty. Good.
That challenge wasn't only just exhausting on the body, but the mind was in complete overdrive. It's now time to move out into a field position for the second part of the challenge.
Try to keep your position. You're responsible for creating space. Don't be pushed around, don't be shoved around.
The team spread out on the court to get into their starting position.
You guys ready? Go!
The game starts, and I'm still just trying to comprehend what I'm actually meant to be doing. The white team score their goal. It's now time for us, the yellow team, to step it up.
Okay.
I, being the pivot, start off gameplay with the ball. I pass it off to my left. We take a shot at goal, but with no luck. The entire field resets. In no time, the white team are going for another shot at goal. But luckily, this time, they're unsuccessful.
Go, 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 come on!
The game plays on, and after a few minutes, I'm starting to wrap my head around somewhat where I should be and when I should be there. We're down to the final few minutes of the game, and I'm feeling I might just be starting to own this pivot position. I run directly down the centre and make a shot for goals. I was actually successful. I couldn't believe it. The end of play is called. I couldn't be happier with how it all went, especially in such a complicated sport.
I really enjoyed it. It was
Good.
bloody tough. I tell you
I
now,
hope
it was
so.
bloody tough. The explosive, dynamic movements, the wrestling. Mate, it's an awesome sport, and I'm surprised that it's not more well known or just not more popular in Australia.
Yeah, I hope we can get it more popular, and I'm sure that like you going through the pace today helps a little bit to people to show off how great it is and how attractive it is, and maybe one or the other kid or even adult wants to start playing.
For a sport that is not that well known within Australia, the level of professionalism and effort that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that Australia has a mark on handball around the world is truly inspiring. Even though I made the game-winning goal at the end of our match, I have a feeling I might not be making the run-on squad anytime soon.